of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asr was Zaman, on this auspicious occasion, and secondly, to all the Muslim Ummah. Our hearts tonight are in Baqi, and inshallah, we'll get this program underway with the recitation of the Holy Quran. So I would like to pass it on to Brother Qudush, who will start with the recitation of the Holy Quran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, dear brothers and sisters. Inshallah, as the brother mentioned, we'll start with a recitation of the Quran. We'll followed by the dua from Sajjad, which is particularly given our current circumstances. It's highly recommended dua in order to eliminate hardships and difficulties. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لم تقولون ما لا تفعلون كبر مقتا عند الله أن تقولوا ما لا تفعلون إن الله يحب الذين يقاتلون في سبيله صفا كأنهم بنيان مرصوص وإذ قال موسى لقومه يا قوم لم تؤذونني وقد تعلمون أني رسول الله إليكم فلما زاغوا أزاغ الله قلوبهم والله لا يهدي القوم الفاسقين وإذ قال عيسى ابن مريم يا بني إسرائيل إني رسول الله إليكم مصدقا لما بين يدي من التوراة ومبشرا برسول يأتي من بعد اسمه أحمد فلما جاءهم بالبينات قالوا هذا سحر مبين ومن أظلم ممن افترى على الله الكذب ودعا إلى الإسلام والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين يريدون ليطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون والذي أرسل رسوله بدين الحق والدين كله ولو كره المشركون يا أيها الذين آمنوا هل أدلكم على تجارة بكم من عذاب أليم تؤمنون بالله ورسوله وتجاهدون في سبيل الله بأموالكم وأنفسكم ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون يغفر لكم ذنوبكم ويدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ومساكن طيبة في جنات عدن ذلك الفوز العظيم وأخرى تحبونها نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله كما قال عيسى ابن مريم للحواريين من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله فآمن طائفة من بني إسرائيل وكفر طائفة فأيدنا الذين آمنوا على عدوهم وأصبحوا ظاهرين صدق الله العلي العظيم So shall I read without the mic? I've heard that it's best to read without the mic. Yeah?
I think it's best to read without the mic. I think the audio is cutting out.
Thank you. Inshallah, we're going to recite the 7th dua of Imam Zain al-Abidin, inshallah. يا من تحل به عقده المكاره ويا من يفتح به حد الشدائد ويا من يلتمس منه المخرج إلى روح الفرج بلت لقدرتك السعاب وتسببت في الأسباب وجرى بقدرتك القضاء ومدت على إرادتك الأشياء فهي بمشيتك دون قولك مؤتمرا وإرادتك دون نهيك منزجرا أنت المدعو للمهمات وأنت المسعو في المهمات لا يندفع منها إلا ما دفعت ولا ينكشف منها إلا ما كشفت وقد نزل بي يا رب ما قد تأكدني ثقله وألم بنا قد بهذني حمله وبقدرتك أوردته علي وبسلطانك وجهته إلي فلا مسلم لما أوردت ولا صارف لما وجهت ولا فاتح لما أغلقت ولا مخرج لما فتحت ولا ميسر لما عسرت ولا ناصر لمن خذلت.
Sorry, Brother Karush, to interrupt. Unfortunately, the audio is not that great on the live stream. So inshallah, we'll continue with your recitation and Brother Ali Zadeh after Sheikh Jawad, if that's okay. Again, apologies on our behalf. Now, just to, again, welcome you guys to the program. For those who are joining us now, I'd like to, number one, thank you guys for joining us and letting us in your homes quite virtually. And I'd like you guys to really, share the link around and get as much people involved in live streaming these events. It's extremely important in today's current climax, especially. A lot of us are working from home. A lot of us are in self-isolation, but that doesn't stop us from continuing the message of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And it's extremely important for our psychological well-being as well, to be part of these majalis and these celebrations. So to move swiftly on, I'd now like to invite Brother Sheikh Jawad Shomali, whom will have a brief lecture on the life of Imam Zain al-Abidin. So Sheikh, please take the stage.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I still can't see my beautiful face. Am I on now?
Yeah, Sheikh, we can see you.
Perfect. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa bihi nasta'een. ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It is an honor to virtually be in your company on this amazing and special day. And I hope, inshallah, we'll have a fruitful discussion. And thank you also to Brother Kurosh for the recitation of the Quran. I know we had some issues with the audio, but the verses were perfect. I love also the verses that were chosen. So, inshallah, I'm not going to speak more than maybe, inshallah, 20 minutes, roughly 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Wouldn't be more than that. But, inshallah, let's see how it goes. So, I also want to give some, what is it called? The vibe of an Eid. It's a Mawlud. So I hope everyone's at home watching. They put a smile on. They're, what is it called? They remember that smile is a sunnah, it's a sadaqah. So let's all cheer up. And the discussion I want to have for today is mainly based on Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq by Imam Sajjad. You know Imam Sajjad's life better than me. I'm sure we've heard Imam Sajjad's life over and over. So I thought maybe something better is to take a lesson from Imam Sajjad on this special day. And before just jumping into the discussion on the Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq, I want to mention a point as an introduction, which helps us understand the importance of what is it called? The importance of having discussions like that. And then inshallah, I'll start my discussion. One of the things which is very interesting to me, and I've mentioned it quite a few times in my lectures, is the fact that many of us, even though for the rest of our life, we've been washing our hands, the past few days with all of this going on, we've been told that now we need to wash our hands again. And this is very interesting for me to pay attention to and to watch, because like people who are 20 years old, 30, 40 years old, they've been washing their hands for the rest of their life, all of their lives. And now suddenly, when it's a matter of life and death, you're suddenly told, you know what, you weren't doing it right. So we need NHS, we need different people, doctors, nurses coming up, putting videos and telling us how to wash our hands, something which we were meant to know how to do. And this is, I think, very interesting. It reminds me of many ahadith that we have, because this is something with regards to washing hands, but in religion, we have the same concept. You know, it is very likely that we can be doing certain acts for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years without getting the benefit that we were meant to get. In the same way that we thought we were washing our hands, but when it actually mattered, when it was an issue of life and death, they told us, nah, you weren't doing it right. You had to do it this way, that way, you had to do it that long, 20 seconds, with this, with that. And the same thing can happen with religion. We could be following, we could be, what is it called, doing certain actions, following so many rituals, but then when it matters, when we want to benefit from it, we may be told that, you know what, it wasn't actually the right way. And we have this in so many hadith. For example, we have a hadith from Imam Baqir alayhi salam, in which he says, it is possible for a person to pray for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and not benefit at all from their prayer, which is a very scary thing to hear. We even have the hadith from Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he says that it is possible for a person to pray, not only his prayer won't impact them, but the prayer would even curse them. We have another beautiful hadith from the Prophet in which he says, two people could be praying. One of them, his prayer would move mountains, whereas the other one, his prayer wouldn't even lift the wings of a mosquito. So this, I think, is very important for us to take this lesson. And as I said, right now, because of everything that's happening, it's easier for us to accept it. It's easier for us to accept that it is possible to do something, genuinely think you're doing it, but it's not actually having the benefit that it should have. In the same way that washing the hand can, you know, be empty from the benefits that were expected from it, prayer can be the same, reading the Quran can be the same, reciting the du'as can be the same. So it's very important to learn what is the correct way of doing things, right? What is the, if, for example, with regards to hands, we should have done it 20 seconds with the manners they're instructing us, what is the secret ingredients when it comes to religious rituals to make sure they have the outcomes which they're meant to have? As I said, it is very likely for people to pray for many years, to recite the Quran for many years, but not what is it called, reaping, taking the benefits. This is especially important for us in these months. Why? Because in these months we all have extra spiritual energy. We are all looking for the different a'mals to be done. We're in the month of Sha'ban, preparing for the holy month of Ramadan. Again, in Ramadan, we have so many a'mals. In Sha'ban, everyone's having this spiritual energy to do more acts and more acts. But it's very important for us, before we try to add to the quantity, we make sure the quality is right there. Because if one thing we've learned from the ahadith, and one thing I'm going to keep focusing on, is that it's very possible to do something even with the right intention, but it's not enough. All right. So in the spirit of this point, I want to focus on dua makarim al-akhlaq and talk about how is it possible to benefit from this dua more. Many of us, unfortunately, the encounter we have with the ad'iyah is very shallow. Although even that is very good, to recite them, it's beautiful. There's a high chance that it may affect us. But if we just leave it at that, I think it's somewhat disrespectful to the Ahlul Bayt. On the one hand, we are always so proud that our ad'iyah are rich with content, rich with teachings. When it comes to Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, we say that he passed on his teachings through his ad'iyah. But when it comes to actually benefiting from it, you see that most of us don't refer to these du'as to learn much. It's mainly, let me read this because they said if you read this on this day, you'll get the thawab. Okay, what happened to the idea that you said this dua was filled with teachings? What about going there to learn something new? And a question I always ask my friends and students is, after all these years of reciting these beautiful du'as, do we have now beautiful content, beautiful points that can change life to offer to people who are not familiar with this dua? If, for example, they tell us, okay, what is Imam Sajjad's du'as all about? Or tell me, how is, for example, dua makarim al-akhlaq changing you as a person? Do we have enough points to tell them? Are we actually following the things which are in these du'as that we recite? Because, you know, Brother Kurosh recited beautiful verses of the Quran. One of the verses he recited, if you think about it, it's super scary. God is telling to people, why are you not doing the things which you are saying? Kabura maqtan 'inda Allah. God is saying, it is hateful to me when you say things which you are not acting upon. Now, if we are reading these du'as, if we are reciting them and we don't act upon them, we probably fall under the category described in this verse. And the standards which Imams put for us in these du'as are super high, are very, very high. So sometimes I think it's not easy to just read these du'as. It's a very, very important and significant thing. So tonight I want to just mention some of these beautiful points, some of these beautiful content from dua makarim al-akhlaq. The idea which I think Imam Sajjad mentions beautifully in dua makarim al-akhlaq, although this dua is filled with beautiful teachings, but one idea in which I particularly love and I want to emphasize on tonight is the balance between our responsibility for the world and our responsibility for our own spiritual well-being. Unfortunately, this balance is usually not easy for people to keep. On the one hand, you see some people, either some groups in religions or some religions whose whole focus is on personal spirituality. What can I do for my spirituality? What can I do to feel the divine more? What can I do to have more religious experiences, to feel calmer, to feel closer to God? But there is almost no attention paid to the responsibility we have to the world, to solving the problems there are, to fixing the issues there are. So that's one group. And if you look at this group, they even have ways of justifying this, right? Many of the spiritualities right now in the world, especially the New Age spiritualities, if you look at them, all the attention is on the inside. Even if there's any problem, it's not the problem out there, it's your attitude towards it which is creating it, which sometimes it's true, but a lot of the times it could be false. So as great as this spirituality is, it's so much individual focused, and it lacks the attention that a believer has to give to the world around him. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, even Muslims fall into this trap. For example, the month of Ramadan comes, and all we can think about is, what can I do for myself? What can I do for my prayer? What can I do for my fasting, for my reading Quran? Even when we want to do charity, sometimes, unfortunately, it's with the intention of what will I get out of it, right? So they say, oh, one of the a'mal of the month of Sha'ban is to pay sadaqah. So because I want to get closer to God, let me pay sadaqah. Again, you see all the emphasis and is on the personal spirituality without much attention to what's happening in the world. So that's one problem. That's one side of the spectrum which a lot of people fall on. On the other hand of the spectrum, we have a certain group of people who have so much passion for changing the world, so much passion for volunteering, doing works in beautiful charity organizations, becoming an activist, this and that, without paying attention to their own spiritual growth. So it's all about changing the world, but not much about the inner work that is required. So, and as I said, this is not an easy balance to keep. It's perhaps one of the most difficult challenges of a human being, to make sure that at the same time that they are working for their personal growth, they're also working to fix and react to the issues which are happening around them in the world. So what does this have to do with Imam Sajjad? Because tonight we are celebrating the birth anniversary of Imam Sajjad. Well, the reason I'm mentioning all of this, because I think Imam Sajjad in his Makarim al-Akhlaq has mentioned the beautiful solution to this issue. He gives us the perfect balance. On the one hand, we have in the beginning of the dua this idea that Imam says, وَاسْتَفْرِغْ أَيَّامِي فِيمَا خَلَقْتَنِي لَهُ. Right? Imam is asking God, وَاسْتَفْرِغْ أَيَّامِي فِيمَا خَلَقْتَنِي لَهُ. So, oh God, please help me that I use my days, the days and years of my life, for that purpose for which you have created me. And then the Imam in the next lines gives more explanation as to what this purpose is. And you can see that this purpose is very much focused on what's happening in the world. For example, the Imam mentions zalimin, right? The oppressors. So the Imam clearly makes it clear that standing against oppression in the world is one of our duties. Now, I have talked about purpose in a lot of my lectures. The idea that in this world, apart from our spiritual growth, we are given an important task as Khalifatul Allah, as God's deputy on earth, to do God's work. There are many problems in the world, many suffering, which is a result of you and I, or people like us, not taking our purpose seriously, not fulfilling our duties, And the shortcomings that we have lead to real problems in the world, right? Right now, I've said this example many times. Many people are upset with certain politicians and the way they act. Oh, this politician is causing so much trouble. Oh, this politician is doing this to us. And if someone asks them, okay, fair enough, let's say this politician goes away, how many of you are ready to replace him? How many of you have lived in a way, have fulfilled your potentials, have done your bit, so that when the time comes when we need a leader, or when the time comes when we need a person to make important decisions, you are ready to do that? Well, if we haven't lived in that way, as much as we criticize the people already in power, we are also to be blamed. There's this beautiful letter Imam Hussein writes to the people in Kufa when Muawiyah is really oppressing them and they're under so much problems. The Imam tells them, those of you in Kufa, I know you're being oppressed. I know you're going through so much issues. But those of you who had the power to do something about this, those of you who had the power to change the situation and you did not, you're going to end up in the same place as the oppressor. So in Islam, a human's responsibility in the world is very serious. Each of us are here with a task to do God's work on earth. And this is repeated in many places in the Quran. As I said, in one place, God says, you are my Khalifa. Inni ja'ilun fil arzi Khalifa. I put my deputy on earth to do my work. We even have this idea that God says, you have to work in my name. There are certain things that God wants to do through us. And it's not like if we don't do it, then someone else would do it. You know, a lot of the time, some people think, you know what, God is all powerful. So even if I don't do my part of the task, if I don't do my duty, well, he'll do it through someone else, or he'll find another way to do it. But God makes it very clear, at least in 2 places in the Quran that I remember, if you don't do your duty, then no one else will do it, at least for some time. There are certain responsibilities which are up to you and up to me. And if we don't do it, it doesn't mean that someone else will do it. No, it would translate to real suffering for people that we were responsible for. So Imam Sajjad here says, oh God, help me fulfill the duty for which you created me. Maybe I had to take care of people. Maybe it's, I don't know, each of us has a different purpose. Some of us have to do through knowledge. Some of us are in healthcare. Some of us, each one of us is in a different way trying to make the world a better place. Some of us by their voice as a reciter. Some of us as a teacher. Some of us through as a lawyer, as a journalist. In wherever we are, Imam Sajjad is asking God, and we have to follow from the Imam, ask God the same. Help me that in this task that I've chosen to do God's work on earth, I don't get distracted and I use all of my days here. So Imam starts by this, reminding us of our important responsibility. And as I mentioned, this is a responsibility that if we don't do, it's not like other people would do. God says, for example, in this verse in the Quran, that if you don't change your situation, I am not going to change it. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin. God will not change your situation until you change it yourself. And this is about a society, this is about a community, and it's also about the world. And there's even this verse in the Quran, which is very beautiful. This group of people say, you know what, there's poor people, there are certain poor people. And if God wanted to feed them, he would have done it. Why should we care? It's a very tricky question. So you're saying if I don't help, God doesn't have the power to help? Well, God says that's your responsibility. You can't say that because God's powerful, he will send another one. No, a lot of the times it's your responsibility. If you don't do it, it's going to lead to real suffering in the world. Anyways, so that's how the dua starts, by reminding us that each and every one of us has a purpose in this world, which if we don't do it, there's going to leave a gap in the world. It's going to be filled with suffering. But then Imam, when he goes forward, he emphasizes on the aspect of personal growth and spirituality as well. So it's not that we have only a responsibility towards the world, but we have a responsibility towards ourselves as well. And Imam actually gives us a prescription for spiritual growth, which is, I don't know how to express it. It is amazing. You know, a lot of our great scholars have emphasized on these phrases of Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq, which I'm going to share with you. And they mention that this is perhaps one of the most, I don't know, foolproof, one of the most guaranteed prescriptions for spirituality. It's not an easy one, but it's a guaranteed one. But before I go and mention this prescription Imam Sajjad gives, which is also my last point, I'm going to go and leave you to listen to the beautiful recitations which our brothers, inshallah, are going to recite for you, the fun part of the night. I just have to explain why this is important. Why is this prescription that Imam Sajjad is giving super important? See, when we want to, I'm trying to come closer to you so that you feel the significance of this point. A lot of the times when we want to get closer to God, when we want to feel more spiritual, let's say in the month of Sha'ban, let's say right now, they tell us, do this act, and then you get closer to God. What is that act called? Let's call it a prescription. So they give us a prescription, and we follow that, hoping that we get close to God. However, the problem is that most of these prescriptions come with side effects. What do I mean by that? Let's say you try to read more Quran. You try to pray with the presence of heart. You try to get up in the middle of the night and perform your Salatul Layl. These are all amazing things. But the problem is that all of these have a very serious side effect, and that is arrogance. You know, Shaitan, we all know, was praying for thousands of years. And if you think about the level of closeness he had to God, probably way closer than we are to God. And praying for 6,000 years, but all that prayer led to was arrogance. Now, a lot of us, unfortunately, are not, what is it called, immune to this side effect. We become a little bit spiritual. We fast a few days in Sha'ban. We wake up a few nights in Salatul Layl. And then afterwards, we feel like, you know what? It's Ayatollah Bahjat and me. We're at the same rank. We look at people and like, oh my God, the normal people, they don't get up for the Salatul Layl. They're not like us. And this arrogance can sometimes be very hidden. You know, there's this beautiful story. There were two monks. They were in their place of worship. And the lecture that day, the sermon, was about how in front of God, you should feel nothing. I'm nothing in front of God, etc., etc. So this was the sermon they were listening to. They come out, they're walking, and they see there's a janitor there who has also apparently heard the lecture, just cleaning the place, and to himself is saying, oh God, I'm nothing in front of you. And then the monks look at each other and they're like, who is this guy to think he's nothing, right? Even when it comes to a practice of thinking you're nothing, still arrogance can jump into it. Only I can say I'm nothing. You can't say you're nothing. So this is the problem that our spiritual teachers always emphasize on, that in most of the prescriptions for spirituality, there is the problem with arrogance. However, Imam Sajjad gives us a prescription which is very, very, very difficult, but at the same time, it doesn't have any of these issues. And what is that? That is this whole concept of the makarim al-akhlaq, this way of treating people, these qualities of akhlaq, which are immune from arrogance. And he mentions a few examples of it. I'm just going to mention the examples and then leave the room to our beautiful, handsome reciters. The first line is this. Imam Sajjad says, "Saddidni li'an u'arida man ghashani bin nusr." So Imam is telling, help me to treat the one who's wronged me, who's deceived me, to treat them rightly. Let me just mention the phrases and I'll explain it because it needs a lot of explanation. وَأُجْزِئَ مَنْ هَجَرَنِي بِالْبِرِّ. Oh God, help me to treat or reward the one who has left me, hajarani bilbir, with kindness, with goodness. وَأُثِيبَ مَنْ حَرَّمَنِي بِالْبَذْلِ. And to reward the one who deprived me with generosity. وَأُكَافِئُ مَنْ قَطَعَنِي بِالسَّلَةِ. And to build relationship. It's very interesting. You know, Imam uses a very interesting word. He says, ukafu. Ukafu comes from mukafat, which means punishment. Imam says, help me to punish the person who's done wrong to me by goodness. The one who stopped relationship with me by being there for them, right? He's completely changed the meaning of punishment. And then he says, and the one who's backbited me by remembering him goodly. Now, this is the prescription. And this is what the Prophet said, إِنِّي بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was chosen as a prophet to establish the makarim of akhlaq. And this is makarim al-akhlaq. Not just doing good, but doing good to the one who has harmed you. Why is this prescription for spirituality immune to arrogance? Because first of all, in most cases, there's no one to know that. There's no one to reward you. And it's extremely hard. When you are trying to be nice to the person who has wronged you, you are in direct battle with that part of you which causes arrogance. You are going full on against your ego. So this is the bulletproof way to deal with arrogance and deal with spirituality. And before I end, I just want to say that in the lives of our Ahl al-Bayt, there are many examples of this. Haven't we heard, for example, that when Marwan had issues with Bani Umayyah, and then he was running around the city to look for a safe place to go, from his own friends, they told him, go to the Ahl al-Bayt's house. And he was like, what are you on about? I killed Imam Hussein. I was part of the group that did this to their father. You're telling me go to their house? And he said, if there's one house for you to be safe in, it's going to be their house. You know, when you, and he actually went to the house of Ahlul Bayt and they let him in. We even have, for example, with Imam Hussein, who literally did the worst thing you can imagine on the day of Ashura. If it wasn't for Hur ibn Riyahi, Ashura wouldn't have happened. He's the one who stopped them. He's the one who didn't give them water. And then when he comes to the Imam tells him, hold your head high, because we're a family who are following this makarim al-akhlaq. You do wrong to us, we treat you with kindness. And I think this prescription for spirituality is not only the most beautiful, but there are so many opportunities for us to follow this. Anytime someone harms us, there's that opportunity to follow Imam Sajjad, to do niceness to them. Anytime someone speaks badly against us, someone's not showing appreciation to us, someone's harming us, all of these are instances for us in which we can follow this prescription for spirituality from Imam Sajjad. And of course, in their life, there are many examples in which they did this. And this kind of behavior, it is so powerful. It creates so much spiritual energy that after 1,000 years, even when you read these stories from the life of Ahlul Bayt, still it does something to you. You know, this act of doing showing kindness to the person who's harmed you is so powerful that the spiritual energy remains in the universe, and even after 1,000 years it changes us. By the way, this doesn't have to be an enemy outside. It could be a sister at home, it could be your husband, your annoying husband. I don't know, many opportunities for us to follow this. So let's follow this. Let's be nice to everyone around us. And for example, another good opportunity is that if you didn't like this lecture, if you feel like it was boring, you can show kindness. You can say it was amazing, and that will get closer to God. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry I talked too much, and have a blessed night and Khoshhali Mubarak, and I will leave it to the rest of the brothers, inshallah. Thank you so much. Ma salama.
Thanks a lot, Sheikh Javad, for your insightful lecture. It was extremely important, the points you raised on how practicality is also extremely important in Islam, that we use the Imam's examples to work on ourselves, and develop our communities by helping others, which is also an act of worship. Now we're going to start the celebrations, inshallah, so I urge everyone, to get involved from their homes in the comfort of your beds or your sofas. And to start, I would like to invite Brother Ali Reza, who will be reciting in Farsi. So, Brother Ali Reza, if I could just pass it on to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear brothers, sisters, many congrats on the occasion of birthday of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Hazrat Abbas, and Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. Inshallah, I will read some poems in Farsi. One is about Hazrat Abbas and the other one is about Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, and I hope you will enjoy it. السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح المطيع لله ولرسوله ولأمير المؤمنين والحسن والحسين. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته ومغفرته ورضوانه على روحك وبدنك. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم إسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله. أي نخل أدب ثمر مبارك، ای نخل ادب ثمر مبارک، وی بحر شرف گهر مبارک. ای شمس ولا قمر مبارک، ای طور علا شجر مبارک. ای عشق و وفا پدر مبارک، ای شیر خدا پسر مبارک. میلاد حسین دیگر آمد، الحق که دوباره حیدر آمد. این کیست؟ این کیست؟ برادر حسین است، این شیر دلاور حسین است، این پاره پیکر حسین است، فرمانده لشکر حسین است، این ساقی ساغر حسین است، این روح مطهر حسین است. این ماه امیر مؤمنین است، این صورت حکمت صورت آفرین است. ای در گل و این پسر گلاب است، مه بر سر دست آفتاب است. از نور به صورتش نقاب است، سر تا به قدم ابو تراب است. سردار رشید انقلاب است، در دست پدر به پیچ و تاب است. اشکش همه جاری از دو عین است، چشمش همه حال در حسین است. Please send a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Another poem for Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, and then that's my part. راز و نیاز امشبم تأثیر دارد، راز و نیاز امشبم تأثیر دارد. والله دیدار علی تکبیر دارد. بالای چشم ابرو که نه شمشیر دارد، هر نقطه از هر خطبه اش تفسیر دارد. زیباتر از زیباتر از زیباست آری، او هم علی و عالی و اعلاست آری. کامش که با گلبوسه ارباب وا شد، ذکر لب کرب و بلا شکر خدا شد. آمد به دنیا عزت ایران ما شد، عرش خدا با دیدن گهواره تا شد. خم شد که بگذارد دو دیده زیر پایش، لرزیده عالم با تکانهای عبایش. لبخند او شد باعث لبخند ارباب، نامش شده حک روی بازو بند ارباب. حق علی بالاترین سوگند ارباب، با صبر و ایثارش شده پاینده ارباب. او در شجاعت مثل حیدر بی‌نظیر است، مثل حسین ابن علی نعم الامیر است. شد سایه روی سرم الحمدلله، شد برگ برد محشرم الحمدلله. شد ذکر لبهای حرم الحمدلله، شد افتخار کشورم الحمدلله. او آمده تا عاشقی معنا بگیرد، ایران و ایرانی سرش بالا بگیرد. دارم شب میلاد او حال و هوایی، گاهی بقیم گاهی کربلایی. حرف از حرم شد بر لبم آمد نوایی، مادر صدایت میزند مهدی کجایی. مادر صدایت میزند مهدی کجایی. تیر خلاص قاضی الحاجات برگرد، ای انتظار مادر سادات برگرد. اللهم عجل ولیک الفرج. Inshallah, Allah will hasten the reappearance of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Thank you very much, Brother Muhammad Reza, for that wonderful recitation. I'm sure everyone at home was enjoying it. Certainly I was, and everyone that was watching it with me. Without further ado, I'd now like to invite Brother Khamis Rizvi, who will be reciting in Urdu. So, Brother Khamis Rizvi, I'll just pass that on to you, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone who's watching us today. Thank you very much for that, Faizan. Beautiful recitation is before me as well. Just want to say very quickly before I begin, I think this is an amazing idea, and the fact that Zikr Hussain is still ongoing despite what's going on. I think it's absolutely amazing and such a beautiful occasion that we're celebrating today. So just a few verses of poetry in regards to Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Please do recite salawat as I begin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات
Gio, mashallah.
لے جاؤ کچھ آنسوں کے عوض کائنات لے جاؤ حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ یہ کربلا ہے یہ معجز نما کی بستی ہے یہ کربلا ہے یہ معجز نما کی بستی ہے کفن میں اس کے لپیٹو حیات لے جاؤ حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ کہیں گے ماتمی حلقوں سے لوگ محشر میں واہ واہ جی واہ کہیں گے ماتمی حلقوں سے لوگ محشر میں ہمیں حسین کی جنت میں
واہ جی واہ واہ
نعرہ حیدری
یا علی
واہ جی واہ حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ نہیں کروں گا لحد میں کیا مصرع ہے میں انتظار سحر نہیں کروں گا لحد میں انتظار سحر فرشتوں وہ بلا راتوں رات جاؤ کیا مصرع ہے حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ
कहा ये खिज़र से, कहा ये खिज़र से अब्बास ने यहाँ आकर
जियो
कहा ये खिज़र से अब्बास ने यहाँ कर हमारी मश्क से आबे हयात में जाओ हुसैन बांट रहे हैं
निजात ले जाओ
निजात ले जाओ कुछ आंसुओं के वज़ कायनात ले जाओ हुसैन बांट रहे हैं निजात ले जाओ
वाह क्या आवाज है माशाल्लाह
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद.
Thanks a lot, Brother Khamis, for that wonderful recitation.
Thank you.
It was truly astonishing, and as you guys could tell, we didn't hold back in joining in. I'm sure you all were joining in as we were, inshallah. And now, Brother Ahmad doesn't need an introduction. We're honored to have him on this stream, alhamdulillah. And I would like to invite Brother Ahmad to, carry on with the celebrations, and inshallah, we will be clapping from our houses.
Ahsantum. Unfortunately, just to let you know, first of all, congratulations on the milad of Abu Fadl Abbas and Imam Hussein and Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. I actually haven't got any new material. This is a very, very old poem, probably about 8 years ago. Very, very short one. I'm going to actually mix it into Ali Ali Mawla at the end, so I hope you don't mind. Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein. They ask me, why don't you forget about Hussein? They ask me, why don't you forget about Hussein? I ask them, how could you forget about Hussein? The master of the youth of paradise, but for now be the master for my eyes, and cover them with tears like you were covered with your holy blood and left uncovered. You are a medicine, you are my remedy. No tragedy compares with your tragedy. So we say, live like Ali and die like Hussein. Hussein master, Hussein master, Hussein master, Hussein. Hussein master, Hussein master, Hussein Mawla, Hussein. Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein. How can the hand that right do justice to you when Abbas gave his left and right for you? If they claim he went for the throne and the money, then why did Hussein bring his family and his companions and children along? And when his horse stopped stopped, he said, this is where we belong. Near or far, you're always too close to me. After Ali and Hassan, you are my wali. We will remember you for as long as we remain. Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla, Hussein Mawla. Hussein, Mawla, Hussein, Mawla, Hussein. They think I'm crazy for Abul Hasanain. They think I'm crazy for Abul Hasanain. I say I'm crazy, psycho and insane. He was the one who spoke to the jinn in the valley. He was the one who spoke to the jinn in the valley. Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali. Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali. Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali. They say he was fourth, but I ain't so sure. They say he was fourth, but I ain't so sure. Since when did counting start with the number 4?
Ahsan.
Since when did counting start with the number 4? Khaybar sealed its gates and closed off the court. Who needs keys when Haidar is lifting the door? So tell Khaybar, we have the master key. Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, 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 Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, 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 Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Apologies for the short participation, but inshallah next time will be better, and I'll leave it in your capable hands. Ahsantum. Ma salama. Ahsant.
Thanks a lot, Brother Ammar. That was amazing. Inshallah, we will continue the program now. Finally, not last but not least, Brother Imran, whom will continue his recitation. So if I could just welcome Brother Imran to continue the celebrations, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Your audio is very clear.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum to the dear viewers, to all the panelists here, and the host, Brother Faizan. I want to extend my congratulations to all of you on the birth anniversary of Sayyidah Zainab, Imam Sajjad, Imam Hussein, and Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam as well. Firstly, I just want to say that, it's like for the last 2 or 3 days, we've had a lot of online programs because of obviously, with the coronavirus around. So that inshallah, we pray to Allah to eliminate this virus from the world as soon as possible, so that we can go back to our mosques and Imam Bargahs and celebrate the Jashan's in style as we are meant to. But for now, alhamdulillah, we give credit to those organizers who have organized things like this on the online platform, so we can make use of the next best thing, if you will. So yeah, like I was saying, for the last 2 or 3 days, we've been having online Jashans, like a Facebook Live, where it's almost like a monologue where I'm just reciting one way, and I don't get to listen because when you go to a jashan, you get to listen to all the other beautiful voices reciting about the Imam and stuff. So this was the first time, you know, I'm actually listening to the others as well. I must say, I think Brother Khamis is gone, but mashallah, what a beautiful voice. And it's one of my favorite kalams, Hussein Bantwani. So may Allah bless him and bless all the other reciters and Sheikh as well for all their efforts. So inshallah, I'll start us with a short one on Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Achar Misra. And then, alhamdulillah, I managed to release a manqabat on Bain al-Haramain, and I'll present that inshallah. And we'll finish with a small dua where we take the wasila of Imam Sajjad since it is his day. And then we'll end with that inshallah, with your permission. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. فیش کو عیش فیش کو عیش بناؤ کہ حسین آئے ہے فیش کو عیش بناؤ کہ حسین
Gio, Gio.
ہے سب کو پیغام سناؤ کہ حسین ہے اور اپنے مغرور خیالوں سے گوا بیٹھا ہے پہ اپنے مغرور خیالوں سے گوا بیٹھا ہے پہ جاؤ فطر اس کو بتاؤ کہ حسین آئے ہے جاؤ فطر اس کو بتاؤ کہ حسین آئے ہے فیش کو عیش بناؤ پر محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So this next piece, and especially for those who don't understand the Urdu language, it's from the perspective of Bain al-Haramain, the actual pathway itself. And the title is Man Hu Bain al-Haramain, saying I am Bain al-Haramain. And it talks about the fadail of itself, how lucky it is to be connecting the two shrines of Abu Fadl Abbas and Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So that's what this poem is about. And one of the verses, I'll just do a quick translation now before I begin, and it's one of my favorite verses in this. There's a couple of lines which say that those lovers who go and kiss the shrines of Imam Hussein and Hazrat Abbas, those lovers who go and kiss the shrines of Imam Hussein and Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, I, Bain al-Haramain, kiss the feet of those lovers. Such is my status. So inshallah, with your permission, I will recite this one as well. میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین آئیے میری فضیلت کی کہانی سنیے ذاکر آل پیمبر کی زبانی سنیے مجھ کو اللہ نے بخشی جو گرانی سنیے حرم غازی سے آغاز اگر میرا ہے روضہ شاہ پہ انجام سفر میرا ہے میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین. This is the verse I was talking about at the beginning. کہ منزل رفعت کونین کا جادہ میں ہوں انبیاء جس پہ قدم رکھے وہ رستہ میں ہوں عصمت روندتی ہے جس کو وہ خیٹا میں ہوں جس نے بھی سرور و غازی کے حرم چومے ہیں جس نے بھی سرور و غازی کے حرم چومے ہیں میں نے اس چاہنے والے کے قدم چومے ہیں میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین. اور حرم شاہ سے عباس کے روزے کی طرف دیکھیے چشم بصیرت سے ہے ایک نور کی صاف فاطمہ احمد و شبر تو کہیں شاہ نجف ان کے انوار نے پر نور بنا رکھا ہے عصمتوں نے میری محفل کو سجا رکھا ہے میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین. اور جادہ حق کا سمجھتا ہے مسافر میرا خلد کی راہ پہ چلتا ہے مسافر میرا روضہ شہ پہ پہنچتا ہے مسافر میرا جس کو غازی سے یہاں اذن سفر ملتا ہے بس اسی کا در شبیر پہ سر جھکتا ہے میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین میں ہوں بین الحرمین. اور محمد و آل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد و آل فرجہم. Faizan, but there is time, right? Am I cutting on time?
Yeah, definitely.
There is sure? Okay. So just like I said, we'll finish off with a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the tawassul of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. And it is literally asking for, shafa of the marid. And with that, once again, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that those who are in fact infected with the coronavirus, inshallah, we pray that Allah gives them shifa through the wasila of Imam Sajjad, Babul Hawaij, inshallah, so that they can return healthy back to their lives, inshallah. Ya Rab, bimare kar bo bala ka hai vasita. Ya Rab, bimare kar bo bala ka hai vasita. جو ہے مریض ان کو تو دے جلد اب شفا کرتا ہوں دعا رب سے میں یا حضرت سجاد کرتا ہوں دعا رب سے میں یا حضرت سجاد یا حضرت سجاد ہے آسرا تمہارا تم ہی کیجیو امداد یا رب بیمار کرب و بلا کا ہے واسطہ ہے کون میرا جس سے کروں جا کے میں فریاد ہے کون میرا جسے کروں جا کے میں فریاد، کروں جا کے میں فریاد، امداد طلب ہے میری تو کیجیو امداد یا رب، بیمار کیبو بلا کا ہے واسطہ. And for the last verse. بیمار وطن فاطمہ صغرا کا واسطہ، بیمار وطن فاطمہ صغرا کا واسطہ، صغرا کا واسطہ، معصوم کا یتیم سکینہ کا واسطہ، یا رب بیمار کیب و بلا کا ہے واسطہ، جو ہے مریض ان کو تو دے جلد اب شفا. اور محمد و آل محمد صلوات اللہ صلی علی محمد. Jazakallah, bro.
Thanks a lot, Brother Imran. I'd like to thank all the reciters that did join us and all the viewers at home that sat and celebrated and joined us, gave us the permission to virtually enter your houses and celebrate this auspicious occasion. And inshallah, I hope it comes to a time where if there is a setback like this, we can start out some niyaz through Uber Eats or delivery. Inshallah, thanks a lot for having us, and I think we're going to end it here. Take care. Ya Ali.